This time, like I got basically like a few selections of game. I tried to like look them afterwards to try to see the ones that I could find like the most fitting, I would
Yep.
say.
Yep.
So it's two games from two different players.
Mm-hmm.
I would say both showcase a bit of the good and the bad, sort of.
Yep.
Like it's both games that I lose, but like basically with the Falco matchup recently, I've been feeling a bit lost because like basically the problem is I feel like on one side I have a sort of like a good game plan when it comes to like pressuring and using my lasers,
Yep.
but I feel like I get very quickly overwhelmed and like basically as soon as they start like contesting the laser game a bit more, I get really confused as to when I should shoot a laser, when I should shield,
Yep.
and or basically even like the usage of the platforms.
Yep.
I try to use them to like basically reset neutral and like get back to like getting laser advantage, but like
Yep.
even like the way I do it, it feels like it's the right idea, but that I don't execute properly, and it makes me a bit lost basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like I feel I have a big lack of a game plan against Falco, and it's hurting me because I feel like I have quite an indecisive, you know.
Yeah. Indecisive. Yeah.
Indecisive, yeah.
Yeah.
Indecisive gameplay, sort of.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean that all makes sense, and I think a lot of those things you said are already like pretty good things to do in the matchup. You know, controlling them with lasers, resetting to the platforms when you need to. I just had like one question, I guess. When you meant that they were like pressuring your lasers, do you have any sort of like things in mind that they're doing?
I
That
would
you're
say
struggling with?
simply a laser war, you know, of
Okay.
like
Yeah.
them, like it's more like, you know, them shooting smarter laser, or like they'll shoot, you know, theirs before mine,
Mm-hmm.
and like so I lose the battle, and like from there I usually have a hard time also dealing with the, you know, handling the mix-ups that come and such.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds good. All right. Yeah, I should be sharing my screen if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a look then. Are
Oh, the
you
red
red?
one, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll watch a few seconds first.
Yeah.
That's unlucky. um, yeah, like that sort of thing, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, you can feel the awkwardness, you know,
Mm.
in the
Yeah.
gameplay of like, I want to do something, but I'm not sure exactly what should I do, you know?
Yeah, I get you. All right, let's get back to the starting because there's one that happened like right at the start of the game, actually. So you drop through. So the thing you always want to check with the lasers when you're in these like weird like both of you shooting is whose laser is hitting last, first of all, because the person whose hits last has more advantage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. First of all,
Yeah.
yeah. So then the other part there is you also want to check. Does that then? Do you still have time to get out another laser, or is theirs going to hit you first before you can get another one out? So in this one, for example, this one was a bit weird because he actually ducked under your laser, right?
Yeah.
So then his didn't even, yours didn't even hit. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I think what you did would have been fine if yours actually hit at the start. So what you just want to make sure of here is that you shoot a bit lower.
Mm.
Let me get up my fancy tool. So yeah, you probably want to shoot around here. Maybe you could do a little bit higher. Because it's sort of like if he ran off the platform and shot. You know, if he shoots up here, then it's not going to hit you because you'll fall under it like he did with yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the heights from the platforms when you're shooting is actually really important. And you want to make sure that just like this little ducking animation that he has doesn't make him go under it. Obviously very hard to see with the go sign.
Yeah.
But I think if you're unsure of what's happening, I think just either full hopping is really good or just moving backwards. Especially full hop, it's actually really hard for Falco to like if you jump quick enough, he can't actually like laser here and then do like an approaching laser and catch you. Like you have time to just like jump up and get over him first. Especially if you shield it like you did here. And then the other one I said was just to sort of move back. You know, shield it and then like wave dash back this way, right? And that's just good because it creates a little bit of space for you, and then you have access to this platform up here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the other thing you do if you wanted to play it a bit riskier as well is you could move forward here and try and, like, shine him, right? Because if you watch what he does, he just jumps forward immediately with a laser, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say, like, the basic thing with, like, when you feel like you're in the spot where you can't really get your own laser out is, you know, you either want to disengage vertically, which is this yellow line. You want to try and move forward and sort of, like, hit his laser before it comes out. Yeah. Or you want to try and back up and create space, which is this green one. But yeah, obviously the start made this a bit awkward. But I think all three of those would be pretty good to go for if you don't know what's happening exactly. There's whatever. Like that. So I thought this laser was really nice that you did actually. The shield drop ones are really hard for the Falco on the ground to try and hit you for because you fall down so fast, and that landing animation lets you like duck down low, right? Like you end up down here.
Yeah.
So like if the Falco shoots like a high laser up here, for example, there's not many frames where like you'll actually be getting hit by it because you're either sort of like up here or you're down here, right?
Yeah.
So I really like that one. And this can be a good tool if they're just sort of sitting over here shooting lasers, right? Which I'm sure you've came across. Like this is a really good option that you do here to sort of deal with that.
Yeah, it works often.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do this laser a lot.
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. And that was great. That was really good. The control. Again, you want to be really careful with the laser heights, right? I'd say in general, if you can, you usually want to shoot at beak height. So it's sort of around here.
Yeah.
Because that sort of catches him dashing on the ground and him jumping. He can do some tricky stuff to get under it, like wave dashing sometimes or backflipping. But in general, this height covers the most things. Whereas like this height you shot, which I think was about here. Let's see how close I am. Hey. But yeah, you can see how like that one I it would have hit his leg, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was really important there because, you know, if that laser hits him out of the air here, you get, like, quite a lot of pressure, right? And, I mean, this one you shot was still good. Yeah, these heights were really good, right? Like, this one hit him, even though he ducked for a bit. This one hits him trying to dash. Yeah, so this is another one. So this is quite a common one, I'd say. Like, you come out of a tech roll, right? Falco lasers you. And then you're sort of like stuck. It feels like you're stuck in this vortex, right? Where he just gets to laser again. And you can't really do much.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things here. First of all, you could just take this laser and then fall to the ledge.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure people do to you a lot, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do that, I think the problem here for you actually was just the shield after. So you take the laser, which is fine. And then you see how you had like quite a lot of time before this next one reaches you. Like you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe 10 or 11 frames to work with. So that could have been enough time to, maybe jump out of there. Maybe wave dash and go under this laser.
Yeah.
Because he's shooting quite high, again, because he doesn't want you to get your own laser out, right? And that sort of makes him a bit vulnerable to you going under. But then, if he starts shooting lower, that's when you can jump over a bit easier, right?
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is delay your shield a bit so that you can try and time a power shield. Like, you see how you sort of, like, shielded instantly?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, like, wait a little bit. Because the laser isn't going to come immediately. And yeah, I just think it was that combination of, like, you sort of shielded and then tried to jump. And you just sort of got, like, thrown a bit off balance, I feel like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Awesome, okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is another laser that's kind of tricky to deal with. Similar for the reasons for like that top platform one you were doing, right? Where he falls quite fast.
Yeah.
His laser out. I think what you did could have been fine if you got like a running shine out, maybe. And sort of put out a hitbox here. But again, sort of the three things we said, right, is either like try and go forward and contest it. Try and move sort of vertically and get out of the way. I'd say moving back is a bit worse here, just because like it puts you in the corner, right, and it just creates quite a good situation. So I'd probably do one of these two things if you think he's going to laser.
Yeah.
But yeah, that laser was pretty nice from him. Cool. Nice. Yeah, so I like what you did here. You sort of like waited and then sort of played around his timing, right? And then used that to get your own one out. And then he gets power shield. Yeah, this is just really good from him, I think. There's a few things you could think about. You could try and shoot this laser and then do an action that plays around the power shield. So, for example, you could put your shield up after this and try and shield the laser that comes back at you and then do something. Or you could maybe full hop over.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's expecting, like, to get this power shield, and then he'll be like, okay, it's my turn to go,
Yeah.
But if you sort of jump around that or play around it in some way, he'll be vulnerable. Because, like, if you see what he did here, he would have just jumped straight into this, right? And this guy so far, I feel like, has gone for quite a lot of power shields, right?
Yeah.
On your lasers. That's, like, the main way he's sort of got control back.
Yeah.
Another thing can be just delaying the laser a little bit. So, like, don't fast fall it.
Yeah.
And then that can throw off their timing as well. Nice full hop. Yep, nice full hop again. So I like that you went to the platform, but what you can also do here if you want is just to fast fall down and then shoot the laser coming down, right? And it's sort of similar to that one from the top platform. Top platform, where it's just hard for him to contest. And that one's really useful on FD, I think, especially.
Yeah. I do it a bunch, but yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Alright. Cool. Yeah, okay. So I think this is really crucial, this part. So you get this laser out, which is great. You then shield his incoming laser, which is really good. So now you can get yours out first. And then this is where you need to sort of assess, like, is my laser going to hit him here before he can get his own one out, right?
Mm.
And if you think that's the case, which I think it probably was here, you want to, like, be as aggressive as possible here. Like, take as much space as you can and sort of, like, close in on him.
While shooting my laser?
Yeah, so like this next one?
Laser?
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, number 2. So you got number 1 here, number 2. But just because you want to get to a spot where, like, he can't really run away and get his own laser out, right?
Mm.
Like, you want to be pressuring him so that he can't just do that for free. And I think, yeah, the sort of the mistake here was that you maybe didn't have that confidence that you had a good situation. And then you do this laser, which was great, but then you shield after it, right? And that suddenly loses all of your advantage you had. And then you get caught in this. And, you know, you went from, like, quite a good situation to, like, a mediocre one, right?
So, in your opinion, because, see, like, for example, I feel like the counter laser he's shooting,
Yeah.
like, I shoot this one,
Yep.
yeah, that laser he's shooting, I feel like I'm kind of far. So, what you would have done to contest?
Yeah, so what I would do is, so I would shoot this one, and then this part depends on how much risk you want to take. So you could just jump in with, like, a fully, like, approaching laser and land sort of here, and just shoot a laser approaching like this. Or if you want to be a bit safer but a bit less reward, you could go like this and take a little bit of space, but then still get your laser out, right? And both of those, the laser you shoot, like this approaching one, will hit him before he can jump and get his own one out.
Yeah.
But what you can't do at this range is, for example, jump into him with an aerial, right? Because he's just gonna outrange it with his laser.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say, like, the orange one is sort of a bit more risky just because of some of those things I said before, right? Like, Falco could move forward and shine you here, for example.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if you do this brown one, then it's, you know, you're spaced around that, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But then, obviously, if you're this brown one, you're a bit further away. It's a bit harder to get as much reward, right? So you want to sort of, like, test the water, see if the opponent will actually contest this orange one, and if they don't, then yeah.
Okay, I see.
Does that make sense? Or...
Yeah, no, it does.
Awesome. Okay. Right. But yeah, I'd say that was the main spot that's been going wrong. So at least in the couple of stocks I watched, was just you'd get a really nice laser, but then you'd be a bit unsure, like you said, like indecisive, and then you'd sort of lose that advantage, right? Nice full hop. Yeah, so I think, like, here he might have tried to shoot a laser. Or maybe not, he just tried to jump. But you can see how if you just like, approach him, right, it just sort of catches his jump.
Because I feel like a big problem that I have also in this matchup, and particularly against Fox, but I would say I have the same against Falco, is that I get shine out of shield a lot. Like, even though, like, I'll try to hit a late aerial, like, I feel like I don't really love that option, because I feel like if I grab, I don't get a huge reward. If I go for a late aerial, like, it feels a bit risky, sort of, because I like they can, like, just jump out of shield and do something, and like I feel like it's something I know I have to try to improve, but I'm very bad at it. But like in approaching lasers, the thing is, like, when it's like the full drift distance, it's easy. But
Yeah.
whenever you're like in these custom weird distances,
Yeah.
this is when I sort of fumble, but yeah, like
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Let me swap over to 20xx quickly, and I'll show you a little drill I like to do.
yeah,
Can you see my screen still?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I need to close the dolphin. So I will also send you. This article as well. I'm not sure if you've seen it before or heard about it. Are you familiar with like any other fighting games?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Basically, basically what it is it's just a way of describing like different types of jumps.
Yeah.
And that's really important for Falco because of his lasers, right? So, I like to use this Pokeball as an example for this. So, like, I think what you're trying to say there is that, like, you're really comfortable getting from, like, one side to the other, like this, right?
Yeah.
But if you wanted to land in, like, the center, you'd
Yeah.
find that hard. Or maybe, like, that little black bit there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe back here. Yeah, so this is what I like to do to sort of practice those little spacings, is just, like, I aim for a part of the Pokeball, and then I try and do a laser that lands there. So, like, I'd say the grey bit behind me, right? Or the center, or the end of the red bit, right? And these are all, like, different ones I can do.
Yeah.
And how to sort of do all of those is in this this article here. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but essentially there's a difference between dashing and jumping at the same time, like this, right?
Yeah.
And just jumping without the
Yeah.
right. So when I do like this one, for example, that's me jumping in place.
Yeah.
Whereas if I do that with a stick drift, you can see how I end up in a different spot, right? So having really good control over all of those, like when you're using the stick, when you're just jumping and then drifting, you know, all of that's really important for placing your lasers well. But yeah, so for you, if you're struggling a bit with those middle distances, I'd say, yeah, like a good one is probably just being here and then aiming for the middle, like this, or like this. And similarly backwards as well. Like, I'm guessing you're probably decent at this one, because a lot of people are okay at that. But yeah, it's like middle approaching laser is like kind of hard.
But I've only started messing with this, but I realized with the box, like at least, I mean, I sort of discovered this for running aerials, because that's what I do more, but I sort of realized that because with the box, it's slightly more subtle. Like on some ways it will be more subtle, on some ways it will be easier. But like, because for example, for like basically, I guess the lowest drift you could do, you know. I can just like hold down the modifier, instantly my stick will be like as if it was in that area.
Yeah.
And so like I can do much shorter jumps, but it's something only I discovered that randomly like 4 days ago or something. But yeah, I mean, but I feel like my mistake was me trying to implement this more with aerials, when I feel it belongs more to the laser. Like, you get more use of it through lasering, so yeah.
Yeah, and I think even just practicing it like I'm doing here, like without the laser itself, right? Just practice like jump drift, or like this, right?
Yeah.
And then add the laser in. Because especially some of these, when you start trying to do this and get the right height that you want, it becomes very hard. Like I think there's very few people that can actually like pick all the heights they want and the exact spacings, you know, and all of that. But yeah, I think that's a nice drill because you can just very clearly like visually see.
Yeah.
That's why I like that one. But yeah, let's go back to it's versus Liam. Cool. He's a UK player.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. to wait for it to load. Yeah, I think that's about where we were. Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say he's shooting very, very high, right?
Yeah, but that I remember because I once did a lesson with you, also again about Falco. So
Yeah.
you told me about this. So sometimes
Running
I
under,
try to
yeah.
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Okay, nice. I think something that can be really good from the platform, like here as well. A lot of the time, the opponent will try to jump this way, right? Because they want to stop you from doing like a drop-through laser, right?
Yeah.
Like falling down here. So you've probably seen people do this, but like this is where doing like jump off and then turn around laser can be really good, right? Because you're sort of like switching places with them and getting a laser out, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I think the aerial is still good, and especially if they're like trying to stay back here. But yeah, a lot of people really like to call out this option underneath the platform, so I think it's something to keep in mind. Yeah. Yeah, so then this is another one of these spots where it's like really crucial to sort of think, do we have time to get our own laser out, right? So the situation is for this one, for example, like you've just whiffed, right? You've just whiffed a move. So you're at a bit of a disadvantage, and he's not in any sort of lag here, right? Like he's just landed from a laser. So he's going to be much quicker to get his out. So this would be a spot where I would be thinking about some of those defensive things, right? Like jumping, you know, dashing back. You could try and shield and then put up your own laser, and that could be decent too. But the important thing is you're not trying to get your laser out immediately. You're trying to do something first and then get it out. Right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And there's also a bit of a difference here between if the Falco does like this sort of approaching laser, like the risky one, right? Compared to just shooting in place. Because if he does this yellow one, then that's when you can sort of like run in and try to hit him, right? And it also makes that thing where we said like shielding and then trying to jump and laser really bad, because he'll catch you like trying to do that, right, and get on top of you. Whereas it's pretty good if they do it in place like this.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. So then we get hit, which is fine. Oh, that's really unfortunate. I was going to say that it's a good idea to get good at like double jumping out of the laser when it hits you. Yeah. But this hit you like exactly for enough time for you to just land after it. Which is unfortunate. But yeah, usually if this sort of situation happens, I usually just try and either double jump back here or double jump up here. And then you just reset to neutral.
Yeah.
But then he does the second one, which is fine. So then this is a spot where I'd maybe try and do that dash back power shield he was doing, right? I think that could be pretty good here. Yeah, the full hop was good. Nice. Let's watch that again quickly. Yep. And you can see the same sort of thing is happening to him sometimes, right? Like, you get one laser here before he can get his out. And then you immediately go in and look how much pressure you get going, right? So that, I think that was an example of when you, like, picked your spot really well.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's funny because it's the kind of thing that I feel like I already do a lot, like especially like these lasers, I do them a
Yeah.
lot, but like only in specific situations, and it's like a bit like too natural, I guess.
Yeah.
Or it's it like it's instinctive, it works, you don't really question it, but like I I feel like I guess a lot of things make more sense now, as in like
Also,
I feel indeed there are many times where I get this situation, and like instead of doing that laser, I'll do a high downer and
yeah.
just get China out of shield. And it happens to me a lot. And like I tried a bunch of stuff to try to solve that issue,
Yeah.
but I feel like doing more of what I already do would be good, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's that like you sort of understand a bit better why what you're doing is working,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
that's sort
exactly.
of
Yeah.
that positive reinforcement, right? Yep, it's great. Nice. Yeah, so then these are the ones where I think you want to put up your shield. And the reason is because of less shield stun, right? So when you take a laser, you usually have around like 13 to
Yeah.
11 frames, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you shield it, you only have 7. So if you're trying to jump, it's quicker
Yeah.
to like shield and then jump.
Yeah,
Right?
I also came to that same conclusion because one thing I tried, but then it's more of a mix-up, which now makes more sense. Like sort of what I tried to do is to spam left or right, like away basically on the laser to like smash DI it and hopefully get a dash,
Yeah.
And but yeah, like I feel sometimes I need to. Like these situations can be a little tricky sometimes
They are, yeah. There's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in general, if you want to get your own laser out, you generally want to shield their laser rather than take it. But if you want to move with like a dash or something, obviously like taking it's better.
And does crouch canceling do anything? Is it any good? Trying to crouch cancel the laser instead of shielding, or?
Yeah, so I haven't actually messed around with it much in game, but I know that essentially it works like a shield, but without having to put yourself in shield, right? Like you take the same amount of stun.
Yeah.
So if you could get good at like crouching and then jumping and putting out a laser, that I think that could actually be really good. But obviously that's a bit harder.
But it's a bit harder. It's only better to like add the dash back mix up, I guess. But like otherwise, if you're planning to jump anyways, it's going to be the same but harder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then with this one, actually, I was gonna suggest. Mango's really sneaky with this sometimes, actually. But if you just wait a little bit here, you'll sort of like prolong that that animation you had there, right, where you duck.
Yeah.
So you sit like this for a little bit longer, and the laser sort of passes over you like this, right? And then what that means is that you can jump first before the other person.
Yeah.
Because this time where it's going over you is less than when he has to like shield or take the laser, right?
Yeah.
So that can be really good, especially if they're shooting like standard heights of lasers. Like this can even go over that, under that beak height that I was saying before. So this can be really tricky to deal with. And that can be enough to get you that edge where like you can get your next one out before they can, right? So I like the idea with the forward smash. I think it was right to try and put out a move. But I think you might have had more success trying to do maybe like dash jump shine or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe even up smash can work sometimes actually.
Yeah. I mess around a bunch these days with the
especially this percent is like really good for up smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, good roll. Yeah, so I think it seems like you get that recognition of like, oh, I need to escape here. Just like one laser too late, I think is the best way to put it. So like here, for example, you take the second one and then you roll out, right? Whereas I think if you were a bit more aware, and I think you'll find this easier now, you would see something like this and be like, I'm gonna get shot out of the air and I need to move away now. You know? Because you can tell that like he has time to get his laser out before you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Nice.
Lucky. I should have shot more lasers.
Yeah. One thing you can actually do here, which I don't actually do as much as I should, but versus Falco, you can sometimes just jump off and nair after this, like with the dash.
Yeah.
At this percent, because his recovery's like so like small, right? Like Fox could get back from this, but like Falco can't really. And that will cover both like side B and up B. So that can be good here. But yeah, you know, you could have shot more lasers. You could have gone to the ledge. You know, there's quite a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's move over to that next one then.
Ready? Go!
Yeah, I think I remember like the first stock is like if I remember correctly in this game, like I sort of get rocked, then I come back a little bit, but I feel like it will show a lot of the same
Things.
flaws. Yeah.
One thing I'd say if you're gonna dash forward out of a laser as well to try and hit them is just to make sure you're holding down so that you'll CC this, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get popped up by this, and it forces them to have to like do a sort of an early dare to try and like counter that, right? If they want to try and approach.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like this nair because it sort of like catches you trying to laser, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so this is another one that was really hard to tell, but you actually had advantage here.
Yeah.
Right? Unless he finds some way to go under this laser, which he could have. But, you know, the average player I don't think will. But yeah, because yours hit second, right? Like, he jumps into it, and now if you're a bit more aware, you could instantly try and move forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, super hard to tell. I like your option though. When you're unsure, just like shielding and then doing something is usually decent. It's just you want to make sure you're not taking a laser and then shielding and then doing something right. You sort of want to do one or the other.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think like for example here my problem is like I tried to shield the laser that came out before instead of accepting that like his laser is going to hit anyways, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like we were saying, like play around the laser first and then try to get yours out, you know. But yeah, this is another one where I felt like being good at that double jump would have been really helpful here because you could have, you know, gone up here.
Yeah.
Or maybe like wave landed after.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like for example that down air I did in the corner.
That one.
Yeah. Like it's one of my big flaws, and I feel like for example if I did instead like a little short, like you know, like not very far with a laser, I most likely could have been able to like cover the roll. Maybe with an up tilt, or like at least I could have been able to like wave dash or like do something, you know, react to it, because like it happens a lot that I'll just dash with an aerial and then roll through me, and you know, like now I'm in the corner, you know, like
Yeah. I think you did a really cool sequence in the last game at the start where you like moved forward and then I think you like wave dashed back or something.
yeah.
And that sort of thing, or like shooting this laser and then either like shooting again in place or like dashing back with one could also be really good. But yeah, just holding your ground because I mean, I'm sure you know from experience being on the receiving end in the corner, like if Falco's just sitting here shooting a lot and holding his ground, how hard it is to like get out of that, right? So you definitely want to be making sure you do that back to the opponent, you know. That was just pretty unfortunate spacing. Yeah. Yeah, you could even throw in like a dash dance if you want to as well. That can also be really good. Like here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people try and like full hop out, or maybe they'll try and like run in with an aerial. The only thing, like, you know, they could maybe get their own laser out, and then you know, you've lost a bit of control, but you're not getting hit for it, right? Like, because, you know, his laser hits you, and then you just sort of shield the next one, or maybe you jump up here, or you know, like, you're still just in neutral, and you still have the center. So it's you know, it's fine to get hit by his laser in the corner sometimes, I'd say. If it means you're, like, you know, covering other things, right? Yeah, this person really loves that instant aerial in.
Yeah.
But I mean, you already know what the answer is to that, right? Because that's what you're doing to him. And what's he doing? Rolling, right? Nice, I like that.
There I got spooked.
Yeah.
Like, the shiny hit, so I would take, but
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Yep.
like, see, for example, there the laser jump cancel shine.
Yep.
Would you see, like, had I, you know, like instant like jump air dodge down? Do you think it would have been good, or because I feel when it combos, it's very nice.
Yeah.
But on shield, I like always get punished for it usually.
Yeah, I think what can be good here instead of doing dash jump shine can just be to walk forward slightly, and then you get a grounded shine, right? Which, you know, you could do stuff like, you know, normal shine pressure. You could even wave dash back out of it. But yeah, the jump shine is good when, like you said, when it actually hits the opponent rather than the shield, I'd say. You can also do stuff like shine, like jump shine, and then double jump waveland up here, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, if he did his shine out of shield like this, right, then he's not going to be able to hit you.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you got hit by this a few times, I feel like, as well. This, like, turnaround up tilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable, like, with how you'd punish that, or...?
I feel like I get caught by it a lot. Like usually it's a bit hard for me because like especially these days I'm trying to figure out a lot of stuff with the matchup that like I feel like I get hit over and over with it, but like I don't. How can I say? It's hard to have the mental stack and to shove it in my mental stack when I have like already like, oh, should I laser? Should I do this, that, and like, oh, that shitty aerial that I'm going to shine out of shield, you know, and shit.
Yeah.
So, but like, I feel usually the way I would answer to this is either like laser F smash.
Yeah.
Or which is just like what I thought in my head, but I've never actually like done it in game, but it's not crazy. But it's just like to wait for the up tilt and down air or like jump shine or anything, you know.
Yeah. No, I
Wait for
think,
wait.
yeah, I
Punish
think
the
that's
weak.
good. My concern with the forward smash idea was just that because of the percent, right? So you want something that's a
Yeah.
bit higher reward. So
Yeah.
I'll show you a good way to punish that quickly. Go into Uncle Punch.
Training Falco.
Set it. Oops.
Falco.
Have you ever had this problem, like trying to export save state, like replays like this?
I've
Where
never
like
exported them to someone else. Yeah.
because like when I try to export like sometimes in the memory card manager, like I only see a few compared to the massive amount I have.
Okay,
so-
yeah. Cool. So I'd say this is the main one I would do.
Yeah.
And this one is good because I'm actually not doing the down air until I see him up tilt. So I'm sort of like doing this little dash dance like wait. Or let me do it from a bit closer actually. I'll do it from here. Oops.
Training mode.
But yeah, I think that's a good way to punish it, and this is really good versus a lot of characters actually as well. Like I have one of this versus Sheik as well. Because say he did something else, like say he dashed back, for example, I could change my decision and maybe like double jump, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe I could waveland back.
Yeah.
But this is nice because, like, regardless of the percent, I get a big opening, right? Like, I get a down air. Instead of
Yeah.
trying to do like this, or
Yeah.
this, you know? That one can be good as well. Or, like, you know, dash
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
You know, you can even do like that. But yeah, I really like that as a way to whiff punish, and I'll show you a versus Sheik as well. So like that, for example. But then if she does something else, oh, it doesn't run them. You know, like I didn't down her that time, right?
Yeah.
So I really like that as a way to punish that up tilt. Because a lot of people really like doing that now, because they're all on this, you know, moving perfectly out of lasers sort of train. Yeah, okay, so we've got like 10 minutes left, so let's just have a quick look at like Falco Ditto. Mango vs Falco. Or in fact, let's actually watch. I was trying to find my set with Younger, but I don't think it's on here. Okay, I mean this one, this King's alright.
Oh, le chien qui...
Yeah, I can try and look for some of these things. I think one big thing that didn't really come up that you'll see me do a lot actually is just going to the platform and then dropping through with a laser. Like this. And that can be quite good as well. So the timing on it is basically like as soon as you see this laser come out, you drop through and do your own one. You can still see the screen, right?
Sorry, my mic was. I was answering you, but my mic was muted. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can still see it, everything, right?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
my bad.
That's fine.
I
don't
muted
worry.
myself because I was coughing and I forgot. So yeah.
Okay. No, you're good. Yeah. So this is one I like to do in terms of resetting to neutral as well. So like, jump out of the way of this laser. I wait for this one to pass.
Yeah.
And then I drop through and get my own outright. And it doesn't immediately get me a free win, you know, because he does this nice backflip over. But it sort of puts me back in neutral, right?
Yeah, he still gets hit.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and then, you know, I double jump out here. That was good by him. But yeah, like a lot of these laser interactions that have happened so far, you know, I knew I'd jump over that one. I knew I could shield that one, move out of the way. This one I knew I could jump over. This one I knew I could drop through after, you know, like a lot of these I'm really ready for like whatever's gonna happen with these lasers, right?
Yeah.
Lol. Cool. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
sort
so-
of have a hard time like approaching Falco or Fox on the platform because it's like, what are you going to do to a shielding Fox or Falco that has a shield drop shine? Like,
I can show you something you can do actually.
okay.
I only found out about this about 2 or 3 weeks ago
Yeah?
when I started to test it. So
Training local. Fox.
I'll even do it as Fox.
Yeah, it's the same anyway.
So I'm sure you've seen me do this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you do that versus a shielding opponent, it's very, very hard for them to punish it. So like if I do that. And like I'm just gonna play as Fox and try and like if I know the exact timing it's gonna come at, then I can get it. But you can see if I'm even a little bit late like this. Info display. Oh, there's no way to turn off the other displays as well. I'm trying to look for like my act out of shield timing. But I mean, yeah, this one's just barely hitting, right? If I'm really fast. But you can see on like half of these at least I'm slow. And then you could imagine, you know, like Falco could like short up and do like an aerial here, for example, after.
And so would you say like grinding this like shine waveland?
Yeah,
is,
shine turnaround waveland. I think it's useful.
Yeah.
Because it's useful in combos as well.
Yeah.
And the nice part about this as well is like you can see if the shine does hit, like look at where it sends, right? Because they're holding forward to shield drop.
Yeah.
And you know, if it does send off stage, like that's still decent for you, right? But yeah, if I try this as Falco,
Training mode. Falco.
it's pretty hard to
Yeah.
get.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's even harder for you to hit the shine.
Yeah. No, fuck, wrong way around.
Yeah.
There we go. Why is it so slow? Let's try that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
it's possible.
And like this even works versus like Sheik, like forward air like shield drop as well. It can work versus.
Could it work against Falcon or?
Yeah,
their-
Falcon.
Yeah.
The only character I found it doesn't work too consistently versus is Moth because of shield
Yeah.
drop forward air.
Mm.
But you know, like even puff shielding on the platform. Yeah, I did that one a bit slow. Oops. The spacing on the shine matters a bit as well. So like there you can see how I sort of hit it on the tip. Okay.
Mm.
Oh fuck. Let's try that one. And like this is also have shield grab range. You know, up air.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I definitely need to first work on the laser spacing stuff.
Oh yeah,
But,
for sure.
This would be a good addition, I guess, because
But yeah,
also,
it's good in every matchup, honestly. Like,
yeah, for sure. It's a typical, like scenario. One
yeah.
question I had also but like, I know it's not necessarily easy, but like, a thing I do a bunch and that I feel I don't see other good players doing it, so like I know it's not good, but like I feel it's a bit hard to find something else to do. But like I'll often go for like for example, like full hop nair. If I know a guy will be like full hopping or playing on the platforms or like doing full hop nair or full hop there,
Yeah.
and like I don't like the option. Like in a way it's cool because like you hit the opponent and you get some control, but in another way I feel it's like the risk reward is quite crappy
Yeah. It is.
before like 100+%, where you like at least get
Yeah.
an edge guard or something. But like I've been thinking of like trying to hit a shine instead, which
Yeah.
is way juicier but like a bit harder to hit. But like, do you think I should like continue to try to aim for those shine, or should I instead try to, I don't know, go for like more consistent hits, if that makes
Is
sense?
this? Yeah, I think I get your question. Is this like when they're on the side platform, like this?
For example,
or...
yeah.
Okay.
Or then they'll be like in this mid-air,
Yeah, yeah.
like in the middle of the stage, sort of.
Yeah. So I think, like you said, I think the now once they're at like a percent where they're gonna get knocked off stage could be fine. Another safer way you could do that is doing this sort of back air as well, where you wave dash him first, get close, and then you can drift like this, right? And that's a bit safer because you land on the top part, right?
Yeah, instead of the other way around. Yeah.
Like you said, I think the shine can be pretty good, especially because you just saw you can do that shine turnaround. You can also jump out of it. I think going under and looking for up air can be good as well. But yeah, if they're at like 0, then yeah, I'd only really be looking for that sort of hit or a safe back air like this sort of one, right? I wouldn't be looking for like an approaching like this. Down air can be decent once they're past like the knockdown percent as well. So like if they were at like 50, say, and they're there, doing something like that can be good. Where nair doesn't really get you much, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the downside of the shine is, like it's quite small, right? So it's pretty hard to hit it unless you know exactly where they're gonna be. So yeah, that would be my like thoughts on that, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Now it makes sense.
Awesome. Was there anything else, or does that make you feel a bit better about the Ditto?
No, that was mostly it. I guess I have a bunch of stuff to practice already, and like it's. I guess it gives me better understanding, because I remember like the first time basically I was saying like I don't really know what to do against Falco out of shield, and you told me like basically just try rolling until it doesn't work, then you start like doing a laser or a dare out of shield.
Yeah.
And it has worked to a certain extent, but the problem is like I could feel I was fighting an uphill battle because I needed many neutral wins, and even the neutral wins I'd have, I wouldn't like convert them
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I guess the biggest flaws I see in my gameplay against Falco, like from this lesson, I would say it's like first the doing approaching lasers and like lasers of like especially like shorter distances
Yeah.
lasers, I guess, to be more aggressive, and also more importantly almost to recognize more like whose laser is going to hit first,
Yeah.
and like if I know I'm going to get hit last, I guess,
Yeah.
then I have to think about like, okay, do I want to like, because one thing, for example, that I struggle with, and that I'll like grind a bit and cold punch and it should be good, but it's like get hit by the first laser, shield, they're shooting another laser, and then it's going to be like laser, like approaching lasers
Yeah.
into an approaching thing.
Yeah.
But like then you're like in that like if you just keep on holding shield, either you'll get poked, either you're playing a 50-50 of like, oh, are they going to grab me? Are they going to do an early there? Are they going to do a late there? Are they going to read my role?
Yeah.
Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like I need to be able to recognize this behavior, and for example, like I need to be able to wave dash before the aerial, before
Yeah.
the approaching laser or before the approaching aerial, so
Yeah.
I can punish it and at least introduce a mix-up.
Yeah, yeah, just like recognizing a bit quicker and being a bit faster to like see
Yeah.
whether you have a good or a bad spot, right?
Because I feel people like they get to hit my shield for free,
Yeah, yeah.
like they don't get to earn their pressure. They get it too easily. So,
Yeah. No, definitely. All right, awesome. Yeah, well, let me know if you have any more questions with any of that. But
Yeah,
otherwise,
sure.
I will see you in a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Well, I wish you good luck for Genesis.
Thank you.
All the best.
Yeah. See ya.